In progress.
Stopping in, we've been tapping in. We ain't never late, dropping gems, we've been locking in. Now let's elevate, took else to win, running laps again. This is steady race, people's champ, boy. Yeah, you know I've been a heavyweight. Stopping in, we've been tapping in. We ain't never late, dropping gems, we've been locking in. Now let's elevate, took else to win, running laps again. This is steady race, people's champ, boy. Yeah, you know I've been a heavyweight.
I really need you to stop fucking grabbing me. It's gonna stop happening. And we're back.
Oh,
for part 3. We are back here for Don't Stop, Pop That, talking about some movies that we saw on Popcorn Papi. Let's not forget, we also have our cultural gem at the end. We have 2 movies. One is of the utmost importance. But before we get there, we have another movie that you saw. What is the name of this movie and where did you see it?
That was quite impressive. I'm not even gonna lie.
Are you being for real?
I thought Mbaku was sitting next to me.
Like, you bald-headed demon.
So it wasn't a movie. It was. Right. Go ahead. Get your stuff off.
They don't call him General. They call him Cuckoo Khan, which means the serpent winged or the winged serpent god. Thanks.
You got
I
more?
know the Cuckoo Khan. That's my favorite part.
You got more?
I mean, I could keep going all day, but I'm not going to.
Hey, listen, man.
But when we get into the review, you already know I'm about to hit a bunch of them. So
I bet. So the movie I watched wasn't a movie; it was a documentary.
Yes.
And it's called "Is This Black Enough for You?"
Was it black enough for you?
Yes.
What was it about?
So it details.
Where was it on?
Netflix.
Okay.
It's about 2 hours. So if you you need to have time to watch this.
So it sounds like a movie.
Yeah, it's not something that you want to
the Redeem Team.
Pause and walk away from. You want to be able to absorb it all in one sitting. But it kind of I don't want to say categorizes. What's the word I'm looking for when you go through something over a span of time?
I don't know. You're really throwing this on me. Documents?
Yeah, but that makes it a documentary. Either way, it starts basically from black impression on the movie theater.
Okay.
And actors and the culture of how black people got onto the movie screen. And it starts from the beginning up until present time. And there's a number of iconic people. I know I'm using that word a lot tonight, but I don't care. There's a number of different people in this documentary.
Name me some iconic people.
Mario Van Peebles.
Okay.
Michael Van Peebles, which is Mario's dad, who was a director. Robert Downey, which is Robert Downey Jr.'s father, who I did not know did work with a lot of black actors. Sidney Poitier. Lawrence Fishburne. Oh my goodness.
I mean, those are pretty.
Dorothy Dandridge.
All right, these are some iconic people, all right?
Yes. What? There was one name I really want to say. The brother that really was in movies, but he was really challenged. Oh man, you have to watch it. But basically, it's it's a super rich documentary of just letting you know how black people really pushed the envelope of making sure that we were represented on TV, of going from the era of Step It Fetch It to now being heroes on the TV. You got Richard Pryors, you got Bill Cosby.
There's a certain collective of people that I'm waiting to hear if they're in this.
Red Fox was on there.
Iconic.
Dang. It's there's a lot of people.
Were the Wayans featured in this at all? So you're gonna tell me that we're gonna talk about putting our face out there? We're not talking about A Living Color.
So this is about a lot of people who paved the way for an A Living Color to even happen.
So does this stop at a certain point?
Yeah, it does. It stops at a certain point. I want to say it stops.
Because you said Sidney Poitier, so that's around the 70s, 80s.
Yes. So I want to say that it gives some shout outs like up until the early 90s, but like it doesn't continue to go on further past that.
Okay.
But it's basically just
because like 90s was like the black boom,
right,
stuff like that.
right. So it's just like it shows how like they tested the limits of like what you could see on the film. So for instance, Michael Van Peebles,
Okay.
Mario Van Peebles' dad, like he was a director, he was a producer, and he directed a number of different movies. But at one point, like a certain amount of like affection on the screen warranted an X rating, and he owned the X rating so much that it documentedly belonged to him, to where you got the double X and triple X. The reason those X's came out was because they didn't want to just leave it at the one that had now belonged to him. It was just like it was so crazy, like the way they went from like the normal like Caucasian music that you hear in documentaries or like in movies to like hard jazz and like Isaac Hayes and like Coltrane type music being in shows. So like not only are you watching the movie, but like you're feeling the experience through the music. Like it's like a full circle experience of how the growth happened through black people being represented on TV. Like they showed the Vice Lords movie. They're showing like Superfly. Like it's
also like the blaxploitation movies like Dolomite and stuff like that.
Yes.
Are we pre Spike Lee, pre Eddie Murphy?
Pre Spike Lee.
Okay.
Pre Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
And it's just like to see it and how, bro, you had a young James Earl Jones playing Jack Johnson, the bare knuckle boxer.
Yeah.
Like you had you seen Do the Right Thing?
Yes.
You remember? I can't remember his name, but the gentleman who played the alcoholic that was always visiting the old lady that was in the window.
Yeah, I
she
can't
was
put
screaming when Radio Raheem got murdered.
I can't put a face.
But like, there's a young version of him in movies, and like it's crazy to see, like, because we only know them for when we began to start seeing them on TV, but not knowing everything that they were doing to pave the way for these opportunities to happen, and it was just mind blowing. Like wifey was watching it with me. Lou was watching when she's supposed to be doing homework for class, completely distracted for 2 hours because we were watching this documentary, and it ended right before like Sunday Night Football came on. It was just like. I was not interested in football. Monday Night Football. I'm sorry, but It was just like it was like I haven't seen a documentary like this in a while.
Okay.
And it was like super enriching, and it was fun. It was exciting, and I would say it's a must watch.
A must watch.
A must watch.
So yeah, and like we're talking about like not just on your phone.
No, I watched it on TV. Like I watched the first 5 minutes on my phone, and I was like, nope, not gonna do this, and I put it on the TV and we watched the whole thing on the TV.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really worth it.
You heard that weird ass noise, right?
No, you're tripping. But yeah, so it's called Is This Black Enough? No, yeah, Is This Black Enough for You?
Okay.
All right, because it was like I said, you'd have to watch it. I don't want to like try to over explain and take away from the context of it to where
because it is 2 hours of stuff. It's like you don't want to boil it down.
It is 2 hours
to make someone not sit through it.
Right, and it was just like in an era where they were like they had all these like white iconic people who were trying to like for example, you have like a John Travolta coming out in like Dance Fever, or like a Clint Eastwood, and then you have Sidney Poitier playing a black cowboy, or you have Richard Roundtree playing Shaft. And it's like these characters that we are not supposed to be playing on TV, and we're not supposed to be represented in this way. And this bold stance is being taken to make sure that in the time now you can have an Atlanta, So it was really enjoyable.
You can also have a Black Panther.
You can also have a Black Panther, which we will be moving on to next. So.
Right. Is that all that you had to say about the documentary? I don't want to feel like I'm stepping on you.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I dropped the ball on was checking to see who the director was, and who the narrator was. I had meant to look into that, and I completely.
So what? It wasn't like an obvious voice. You're like, oh, Morgan Freeman's doing this.
No, it wasn't an obvious voice. It was not an obvious voice.
Was this pre-Morgan Freeman?
Morgan Freeman was not in the documentary.
I'm saying so. Like Lean on Me and all that wasn't in there.
Nope, not in there. Which it could have easily have been. But it was like deep, like deep.
Okay.
Yeah, focusing. You know, not stuff like I feel like it was intentional for us to not like just pop things out there that you were able to look for, but like really saying like these are things like they had a Richard Pryor movie in there called Blue Collar that I have never seen before.
Okay.
But after the couple of clips that they showed of Richard Pryor, I was like, I've never seen Richard like this before. I want to watch this movie. I'm going to watch it. But it's just like I never knew it. Like Richard Pryor plays like I think like a mechanic or engineer that works in a factory, but he's struggling to raise his family, and it's like he's arguing with the union and the white dude. Like there's a scene where the white dude's like, "You're fired, get out of here." He was like, "I'm crazy, I'm a killer. You coming at me like this?" I'm like, Richard Pryor, I didn't even know you had this in you. And it's like it was like it really opened your eyes to like while you're watching a bunch of stuff and you're growing your intellect and seeing certain things, there still are a lot of things that you may have missed. So it was pretty dope.
It's just funny that we're talking the movie that we're getting ready to talk about versus this one, because it's like, look at all it took for us to be able to get here. Like, you know what I mean? It's like we're in a movie where like
Preach.
what 95% of the cast is people of color, and it's like the two white people are very bit parts in this movie. But if you did have nothing to say, then is it okay to move on?
Sure, we can segue.
All right, so we'll move on to like what is probably like the big movie that everybody's talking about right now. It's already the highest grossing movie of this week. I'm pretty sure it already made like $430 million in the box office at opening weekend.
Knew that was coming.
Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. We're gonna go spoiler free first, and then we'll really get into it. So, like, do you want to kind of give the description of the movie, or would you like me to go first?
Yeah, so this is post-passing of Chadwick Boseman.
Yep.
I think they did a great job with memorializing him in the movie. We were wondering how they were going to exit his character from the show, from the movie, and it turns out that he dies from deathly illness.
These are spoiler stuff.
I'm sorry. We know that Chadwick's not in the movie. So from there begins the movie of like who takes over, who's the leader, like what is Wakanda going to be like moving forward. And that movie is just like the growth point of characters who were not leaders who have to step into leadership positions while also meeting a new foe, but also replicates what Wakanda looks like. And throughout that movie, they're trying to figure that out to where we do see like how the Black Panther character will be developed, what new characters will be added, and like storylines from M'Baku and then the involvements of what happens from there. Tell me what I left out.
I mean, like almost like the entire movie. Like if you were to give like
the base, do it without spoiling.
No, but it's like you can still tell like people like the plot of the movie. So like the Black Panther has passed.
Yep.
So now how do we move on? The Wakanda has to figure out how to move on without their king,
right, and
their protector. And like while that's happening, they wind up getting kind of, I don't want to say ambush, but the discovery of Tolokan, which is essentially like Atlantis, which is, like you said, it is like almost like a mirror version of Wakanda. They are like a civilization that is untouched by like the current world. And they are given the proposition to either join them or go to war. And so like people are trying to deal with their grief and figuring out like where they belong in this world. And it's like they come to blows. And that's kind of like the crux of the movie is like they are given the proposition to either join them or be destroyed by them. And it's like that's what kind of leads all of like everybody's motivations at this point in time is like how to deal with this new, I guess you could call them an adversary, but it's like, should we make them friend or foe? And that's kind of like where it's at. I mean, does it need to be said? I feel like this movie is a must-see. I thought this movie was fantastic.
I'm going to go see it again.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
When do you want to see
it? Probably this weekend. I'm thinking about Sunday.
Damn.
Because I took the little dudes, but the older dudes had somewhere to be, so I'm probably going to take the older dudes now to go see it.
Okay. So they haven't seen it either?
The older dudes?
Yeah.
No.
Bam. I got to say, I remember like literally months ago, we were having like the discussion about stuff, and I remember I told you specifically, I was like, if there's a movie that I'm worried about, it is this movie. And I am very, very surprised at like all of the things that went behind this movie. Like we're talking about the passing of Chadwick Boseman, we're talking about the Letitia Wright situation, we're talking about the pandemic, like all of these things. The fact that this movie came out, and I think it's the best movie in Phase 4 of the Marvel Universe, for it to have been
saving it.
Yeah, and it's the end of Phase 4. Quantumania, I believe, is supposed to be the beginning of the next phase. But like for it to have come out not only to be a passable movie, for it to be as great as it was, I was very surprised. Do you think this movie is better than Black Panther 1?
No.
Any particular reason? Or is it just because Chadwick was just that good?
So there's a couple of things that I did not like about the movie. And
this is where we will get spoiler talk.
Okay.
Spoiler talk from here on out. At the end of the day, spoiler-free review. The movie was great. A lot of the performances were great. It's a must-see movie. Go watch Wakanda Forever. From here on out, these are spoiler talk. Look, you want to start with what we didn't like before what we did like?
I mean, there's only one thing I didn't like.
Okay, go ahead, go for it.
I didn't like the whole black and brown warring against each other.
But isn't that how they always pit us against each other? Exactly. Isn't that how it always works?
Exactly. So I'm happy to see that it ended up working out, but it was kind of hurtful throughout the movie to watch it, because you see the potential of things being great and how it could work out. And then you basically see what we see every day when we walk outside. It's just like young black and brown men and women like hurting themselves and fighting against each other rather than banding together.
To be fair,
adversaries.
To be fair, my man's asked him to join him first.
I know.
I'm just saying, like there's a stick and there's a carrot. He gave them the carrot.
Yeah.
And then they got the stick.
That carrot has strings attached to it, though.
What was the strings?
He wanted them to join them so that they can attack the free world, quote unquote.
The colonizers?
Yes, the colonizers.
Oh, come on, man. What are we talking about? You mean these people that were just on an oil tanker stealing their whatchamacallit stuff? Those people?
Yes, those people. I think the dope part about it for me was this is the first time that Wakandans have been faced with an adversary as strong as they are.
Incorrect. Because the Wakandans got straight murked by Thanos and his forces when they showed up to Wakanda. Do you not remember that?
Yeah, but that was an adversary that was stronger than that.
Yeah, it was a global, like, Wakandans, y'all didn't even know about us last year, and now we losing people.
And that man had like magic gemstones on his side.
He wasn't even there for the murking. Like, that was the cabal, the whatchamacallit, the Proxima Midnight and all that. They were getting run over by big wheels.
Right.
By
big wheels.
But how would you describe them? Right. They were giant wheels. Like, that was on them, and they were little space raptors.
Wheelies. Wheelies.
Yeah, that was on them.
But yeah, I feel like aside from like the extra like powers and everything, like just off of brute strength and like war tactics, this is an adversary that has all the same resources as you, has structured fighting tactics, and they know how to band together as a unit. And it was looking pretty dark for the Wakandas for a minute, especially following behind Shuri.
That man said, "I have a warrior for every blade of grass that you have."
That is disrespectful.
I mean, what do we want to talk about? Do we want to talk about the plot, or do we want to talk about the people in this movie? Like,
his heart is lying to me before we get to everything else was, mourn your dead. I'll be back in a week. Make your decisions, queen.
He says,
you are the queen now.
He says, bury and mourn your mother.
Yes.
Because you are queen now.
Oh.
Good Lord, bro.
Oh.
After he was getting her wet in that cave.
See you in a week, fam. See you in a week, fam. See you in a week, fam.
And it's like he gave him every opportunity. He's like, yo, I'm trying to tell y'all really don't want this smoke. And every time they wanted the smoke, and they got that smoke.
Now listen, that man was bouncing around that air with them Air Jordans on.
That was my man.
Had the Jordan 1s on the side of his ankles. Like, I'm outside.
So, I mean, how do you want to do this? Do you want to go by the plot? Do you want to go character by character? Do you want to just talk about dislikes? Like, how do you want to go through this?
Yeah, that's a lot. Let's go through the plot. Let's just go through the plot. Because I think if we go through the plot, we're going to go character by character anyway.
First and foremost, did you cry in this movie?
There were 3 opportunities for me to be emotionally dysregulated.
I'm assuming one of them was the beginning of this movie.
The one was the beginning of the movie.
All right. So, y'all know your boy's a softie. Mm-hmm. I have no qualms about coming on here and telling you guys whenever things make me cry. Mm-hmm. I did not cry in this movie.
I didn't.
But I welled up a lot in this movie.
Yeah, some emotional dysregulation.
I don't know about your theater, but in the beginning of this movie, with the silent, what?
Go to it. I'm gonna tell you about my theater in a minute.
Oh, you had an ignorant theater, bro?
Bro.
All right. So, like, in my theater.
No, I had a caucus theater.
Oh. So, like, in my theater, when the Marvel credits came up, and it was all Chadwick Boseman, and there was no music, and it was just a.
Yes. Mind you, I had to tell people in the theater, this is a moment of silence in case you didn't know.
You were not that guy. Were people talking for real, though?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm like, this is a moment of silence. And they were like, and everybody got quiet. But it was definitely a moment of silence.
I couldn't hear a single person in my theater breathe throughout that whole time. Dead silent. And I was just like, and then it's like they rush right into Shuri, trying to find a cure for T'Challa. She winds up kind of figuring out like a cure to recreate the heart-shaped herb. She is not in enough time, and Angela Bassett comes out as she's finishing to let her know that her brother has passed. And then we get the funeral for Chadwick. And, bro, when that casket showed up and they showed what it looked like and it had the arms, I was like, come on. I was like, Ryan Coogler, why are you doing this to me? You don't have to. It doesn't have to be like this, bro. And then I was just like, man, it can't get any crazier than that. They tilt his casket upwards and bring it into the sky. I was like, come on.
And right off with it. I'm like, where you going with him? Where you going with him?
I was at the brink, but it didn't come. But I was just like, I was like, you couldn't have made a crazier visual for me to like really want to be, kind of like suckered into that. We fast forward. And whatchamacallit, we are now, Angela Bassett is now the queen, the queen of Wakanda.
She had a dope moment when she went to the United Nations meeting.
Are you gonna let me tell this? Do you want to do the plot, or do you want me to do the plot?
Go ahead. You got it.
So she shows up. We get to see her like at the United Nations meeting where people are kind of telling her, like, "Yo, man, like, what's up with all that vibrate? We heard y'all got all this stuff over here. If you guys really want to be a part of this, you got to share." But meanwhile, we're getting like this thing going on at the same time, or what we believe is at the same time, is of this military trying to take over this vibranium drill site with a bunch of Wakandans on there. And then we get Joel's first, what was that with my voice? Joel's first let's fucking go moment, which was when the Marines show up and they're like, yo, where's the vibranium? They're like, yo, it's behind that wall over there, bro. And then they open up that wall and who stands up but my bitch Okoye and the Dora Milaje and just straight wax these Marines, bro. Wax these Marines.
They were Marines.
They're French, whatever the hell they were. They were fucking croissants, probably. Don't matter. Because Marco Okoye toasted these niggas.
Yo, not the croissant.
The croissant. I'm sorry, I should have put the accent. The croissant. They came over. And we think that we're watching something at the same time, but we actually is something that previously happened. And Okoye and the Dora Milaje then bring these pirates, or whatever you want to call them, to the UN meeting where she kind of tells them, like, you were going to tell me what to do with my stuff when you doing this and that, whatever. Right. And it's just like, I'm all in on this movie.
Yep.
I'm all in. Then we kind of go back to Wakanda. We kind of see, like, what everybody else is really doing for the most part. And, like, Shuri's kind of like the only one that's like really stuck in her grief, and like instead of grieving, she's kind of thrown herself into her work. But like, the council is trying to figure out how they move forward with these things. And then it's like, they also don't have a protector, like who's going to be the new Black Panther, things of that nature. When in the middle of this meeting, who shows up but our boy M'Baku eating a carrot with the Jabari. He's just like, just whatchamacallit, just love this guy every time that he does anything in there. And then
looking like Teddy from Black Ink.
Right. They they tried to like press him on something. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And then the Jabari is like, yo, if you really want to step, let's step. And then like Okoye says something to him, like, yo, sit down. And he's like, oh, you bald-headed demon. Like, that's all that type of thing. But then Angela Bassett just gives him like a real stern look and it's sit your ass down.
Right.
Which he does. And like, so then like Angela Bassett kind of like takes some time out to go talk to Shuri and like, try to tell him like, hey, listen, like you're not really doing this whole grieving thing properly. I really need you to get this thing off your chest. Letitia Wright is very like vehemently against it for the most part. Like she's just like, yo, listen, I don't even want to do this. I can't burn this garment because what I really want to do is burn the world down right now. And in the middle of that conversation, they are visited by a man from down under. Our boy Namor. My boy Neymar, but we'll call him Namor. The Mayan Mexican angel from underneath the water, who shows up and like shows them like, yo, listen, man, these white people out here, they got technology that they're trying to drill to find your vibranium. We stopped them for you, and we're also like, I'm letting you know that my people exist because we're listen. 70% of the world is covered by water. We cover all that territory. We could keep remaining underwater, but like we're really tired of the way that we're doing this. That's what I'm saying. That's why people sleep and diss Aquaman and stuff like that. I'm trying to tell them, listen, y'all the king of up here. I'm the king of 70% of the world. Like I run all this down here. Y'all don't got none of this down here. I got this.
Namor, Aquaman.
Oh, Namor is definitely stronger than Aquaman. He is, but it's like
just asking.
Yeah. So he shows up. He tells him, he's like, yo, listen, white people doing all this or whatever. I think it would be in our best interest if we join side. We plan on launching an attack on everybody else over here. So either you come join with us, this is the olive branch, or y'all could just be the first place that we hit when we go to do our thing. And he's just, and like to him, he's like, I don't understand why you wouldn't want to go to, because I literally just showed you that they're trying to steal your number one resource. Right. And like, they're kind of
said that our secrecy is in jeopardy because they're looking for stuff that you guys own. Right. That we have kept hidden for years. And now they're knocking at our front door because of y'all.
Yes, because of what Chadwick Boseman or T'Challa and everybody had done with revealing Wakanda to the world for the most part for what they actually are. Right. And then he gives them the opportunity.
He's like, a good choice or a bad choice?
For T'Challa?
Yeah.
I think it was a bad choice. Okay. And come on, man. Listen, if you guys were thriving and doing everything else. The Avengers could have known about you and all this other stuff, but like you ain't need to do all this other stuff. But whatever. I mean, there's no story if they don't do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. And then he gives them the ultimatum. He's like, if you to prove to us that you are down, I want you to go and kidnap the scientist who created this, which they find out is a young student at MIT, a young Riri Williams, which we get like the dope scene of like Okoye and Shuri trying to figure out how to, go in and Okoye's like, yo, listen, I can go handle this. I can take care of this real quick. Right. And like she's like, yo, like let me try it out or whatever. And like, we get a hilarious scene when they talk about her ashy bald head, stuff like that. But then they come under attack from some people, so now they're on the run, and they wind up getting stopped by the Atlanteans and Namor's people, because like I don't think that they fully trusted that they were going to bring them to her. So we get like probably the best fight scene in the movie, which is Okoye versus the Atlanteans, Atuma, Namora, stuff like that. Shuri then says, "Yo, listen, just bring me to Namor. I want to talk to him. Like we could bring the girl down with us, so on and so forth. Bring her down." They go down to Atlantis. She talks to him for a minute. He's just like, yo, I'm not budging on this thing. Listen, if your people come down here and like try to do something, he's like, I'm going to take it as an act of war. And that's what it is. Little do they know that at this time, they found Lupita Nyong'o and they were like, yo, we know you're the still spy. We need you to go and try to see if you can find Shuri. Because right now, Angela Bassett believes. Yeah, she's nice with it. And Angela Bassett believes that Shuri is dead. And we get this amazing scene, first of all, of Angela Bassett stripping Okoye of her title.
She's wrong.
Was she though? Because then she hit her with it. where she's just like, yo, but like all the things I said, it's like sacrifice. You want to tell me about sacrifice? I'm a wife to a dead husband, the mother to a dead son, and now my daughter is dead, which you were supposed to protect. Have I not suffered enough? And so we get that whole scene.
Have I not sacrificed enough?
Have I not sacrificed enough? And it's just like, we gonna get to it after this, but like, yo, whatever it is, give it up to Angela Bassett. So Shuri kind of strikes some sort of like sensitive string with Namor, where he's kind of listening to her, but then while that happens, Lupita Nyong'o kind of sneaks in to bring them in. She winds up killing one of the Atlanteans, which is like and like Shuri tells her like, yo, like give me a bead right now, I can save her. You don't know what you're doing. Like if we leave her here to die, and she leaves her there to die. Namor shows up. Now it's an act of war. Pulls up on Wakanda, because like the only people at this point in time that have even seen Namor are just Angela Bassett and Shuri. Like like that's what I'm saying. This is where we get that like they call him cool God. Like, he's just like, yo, you're the mermaid man. He's like, yo, we just kill him.
I mean, I said, what? You think because we are in the mountains we don't not read?
Yeah, like so like now we get Namor and the Atlanteans assault on Wakanda, and they wreck that shit up, which then ends with them killing.
Their pattern of attack is always crazy. It's like we're gonna send the sirens first, have mad people walk out into the ocean and strangle them. Then we're gonna send some fighters, and then we're gonna release Namor and they have him go crazy on y'all.
Nobody's done it yet, but I'm waiting to see like a TikTok or a video of like them coming out of the water, like, steady, are you ready? Are you ready? What's going on? And everybody being like, oh my God, I got to like, you know what I'm saying? Like them doing stuff.
You gotta do it.
Ah man, I'm not good with the Photoshop like that. But if I can, I'm gonna figure it out. But it's just like, like they have a strategy, and it's like, yo, that strategy works. It's foolproof. I'll tell you that right now. Which ends with them killing Angela Bassett. So now,
that was emotional dysregulation number 2.
It almost got me, bro. Because she sees Riri Williams falling down there, and she sacrifices her life to save one more black child in this movie. And I literally looked over and I was like, do we have to do that though? Like I'm still healing from like the beginning of this movie, and it's like y'all just keep opening up this wound.
And they gave her the casket with the Nefertiti type face on that joint.
Bro, fire. And that's the thing too, is like they do the casket, and I'm just like, oh come on, bro. I'm like, his brother knows. They know what they're doing. So now we are pretty much Shuri is the queen of Wakanda, and M'Baku has taken a lot of the Wakandans up to the Jabari Mountains to get away from the city because they know that Namor is going to attack. Meanwhile, Shuri's trying to recreate the heart-shaped herb, which she eventually succeeds with the help of Riri Williams.
Which is dope.
And she goes to the ancestral plane hoping to see her brother, but no. Who does she find instead? But probably one of the greatest cameos I've seen in quite some time. Our boy Adonis Creed, Michael B. making your bitch wet, sitting on a throne, one leg up, with his gold fronts in and a mink jacket with no shirt on, with his braids freshly done, and he's just like, yo, what's going on? What you doing up in here? He's like, yo,
you know why I'm here.
Yeah, he's like, yo, you wanted some vengeance, right? He's like, that's why you came. You came to talk to me.
Burn.
Yeah, you can see what you call it. You see the bars around the windows.
Wait to see this movie again.
You see the bars around the windows, and like she has like this moment where it's like, she comes out of that because that is what she wants. Like she said it before, she wanted to see the world burn. Now she wants to get revenge on Namor for what happened to her mother. She wants to get revenge on, I mean, they don't say what the disease is, but I mean, it's pretty much cancer. And it's like you just hate the world. You're mad at the world because of like they took your brother, and there's really no one to point the blame at. So she's just mad at everything. And then she kind of has to have like a moment of just like, is that what I really want? But it's like we kind of see her talking through it.
And then it's time to put the suit on.
She gets a brand new suit. I did skip one scene. During her mother's funeral, we get another fire scene from my man M'Baku, who comes to come comfort her. Yeah. And like you think that he's gonna come and he's gonna be on some different type of time. And I just want to point out, because a lot of people's criticism of this movie, where they're saying is like this movie's so pro female that they put all the men in the background.
I have heard that.
And I would say M'Baku in this scene is probably the best ally. This is what an ally is supposed to look like. Is I listen to you. I'm a shoulder for you to cry on, but at the same time, I don't tell you what to do, but I give you other pieces of information that might help you to make the decision that you need to make the right one to move forward. And, you know, because of that, like, I think she looks into things a little bit differently. She creates a new Black Panther suit. She shows up, tells them that she's going to lead the...
Whoa. She goes to pick out a helmet, and what helmet does she take?
It was Killmonger's helmet.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Don't skip over that.
I was gonna say, so she picks up Killmonger.
She walked up in that T'Challa
helmet was like there. Yeah, I can't be that. I can't be that.
There. She walked right past that joint, that Killmonger joint, that gold and black. She's like, yeah, and that's
what. What'd you think of the suit?
The suit was fire.
Okay.
It was female monger.
Oh man. So she goes to the Jabari Mountains. She shows up in front of all the Wakandans and she tells them that, like, listen, we're going to stand our ground and we're going to fight. But while she's not the greatest warrior with her hands, she thinks about things beforehand, and she's really thinking about Namor and his weaknesses. So now we get to like the end battle fight scene type of deal where I can't remember where Namor showed up to in the beginning. I can't remember how they actually got him onto the ship. Like what he was doing specifically.
They attacked them.
That's what it is.
So they used the
same drill.
The same drill to find the vibranium, and they was like, "There's another drill," and they showed up to where the drill was, and it was set up. Yeah. So like then whatchamacallit, like they attack them first, which makes them come out because they know that he's the only one of them that can fly. So in one of the flying ships, they have a containment unit for him where they kind of dry him out. While everyone else is pretty much just trying to hold back the rest of these Atlanteans unsuccessfully.
Yeah, they tried a lot of things, but it was getting a little waxed up. It ends with like a one-on-one battle.
That brings me to my second dislike.
Okay.
I wasn't feeling the suits.
Oh, I'm gonna get there too. We're gonna get there. Let me finish this plot, and then we're gonna get right into what we like, what we didn't like. We get into the final fight scene where it is Shuri versus Namor. In the middle of a desert, he's a bit dried out. He gets the upper hand on him, but he's not able to fully make it back to the water in time. She's able to surprise attack him, and instead of taking his life, she shows mercy, and we get part number 2 where they almost broke Joel and made him cry, where we get Angela Bassett, show them who you are! Good Lord, for the first movie, and I was just like, why are they trying to do this to me? But I held it together. I still held it together. She shows him mercy. He agrees to take his Atlanteans back underwater and to like have a truce. Everybody kind of goes back. Shuri is now the Black Panther, but she is not queen, if I'm not mistaken. Like there's a scene where we go back to the waterfall and it's like anybody could challenge, and M'Baku shows up, but no one else shows up. So it's led to believe that he is going to be the king of Wakanda, while Shuri is going to be the Black Panther,
which is dope.
Then we get to the mid post credit scene, where
there's 2 post credits.
There's only a mid credit scene.
I was about to say.
You know why stayed.
I was about to be like,
we get to see Letitia Wright go to Haiti, where Lupita Nyong'o is staying, and she brings the garments to put into the fire to finally signify that she is letting go of the past. While she is doing that, she is greeted by Lupita and a young boy who goes by the name of T'Challa, who was revealed to be Chadwick Boseman's son.
Emotionally dysregulated 3.
That was number 3 for me as well. And it was like, you want to know what really got me? Because
he said it.
No, not that. When he immediately started talking, he had a list. I was like, I'm a sucker for kid with lists. He was like, my daddy told me about Wakanda. I was like, yeah, I'm in here. I was like, this kid's getting me.
When she was like, who are you? He was like,
Karen?
I'm Prince T'Challa, son of King T'Challa. I was like, oh.
This could have been corny in so many ways, and it was not. Like, it was treated with all seriousness. That is Wakanda Forever.
And I think it was dope that he was like, I met my grandmother. My dad brought her over, so like he knew his dad, he knew his grandma. He gets to finally meet his aunt, and then they find out why what's her name wasn't at his funeral is because she has the son. It was like he's like 8.
Yeah, well, I think it's been 5 years since the blip.
Yeah,
and then like stuff like that. So like it's been like about 8 years.
Yeah,
makes sense. I wish I could remember the quote, but there's a quote that King T'Chaka tells T'Challa in the first Black Panther, where he's just something like he's like, if you can't let go of certain things, or like if you don't do this for your son, then you cannot progress or you cannot do something. So to him, for him to do that for his son and give him all the tools that he needs to progress from there, I was just like, this movie's crushing me, bro.
Yeah.
Start with the things that we did not like. I fucking hated the suits for Okoye and the suit for Ironheart. I couldn't, like, at the end of the movie, I was just like, oof, they were right. I was like, these suits are ugly.
Are terrible.
And I was just like, I would rather you just given her a doper spear. Give her a spear with, like, some lasers on the end or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because whatever this suit was looked trash, bro.
It was terrible.
Trash.
It was terrible. It was like some type of mermaid avatar. I'm on Neymar's size type joint. Yeah. I was just like, what is going on right now? It's like I was not with it.
Everett Ross and Contessa Fontaine, the two white people in this movie, Elaine and Everett.
That's Elaine from Seinfeld.
Yeah. She was in what's called? She was in Hawkeye. She was in Hawkeye.
She was in Hawkeye?
Yeah. She plays the same character. But she winds up recruiting Yelena to be a part of the Thunderbolts because that's the team that she's going to wind up running because we're getting a Thunderbolts movie in 2024, I believe.
Okay.
I felt like all of their scenes didn't necessarily need to be there. Like, I felt like they were very forgettable in this movie for the most part. Yeah. I understand needing Ross and able to find Riri Williams. Mm-hmm. But aside from that, I thought he was kind of like, whatever. Yeah.
I feel like Elaine's going to become like the new agent dude that died.
General Ross.
Yeah.
Or Phil Coulson.
Oh, no, I don't know.
Well, General Ross
the super cool agent dude.
That's Agent Coulson.
The one who
Agent
first,
Shield.
From Shield, yes.
Think about her like Viola Davis in the Suicide Squad. That's kind of what she's going to be.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. That's a better comparison. I can tell you the Thunderbolts team will be like, I feel like we're running long on this anyway, so like we could do that like a whole another time. Mm-hmm. Riri Williams. Mm-hmm. Thoroughly enjoyed her character. Mm-hmm. Hated the suit. Mm-hmm. All in on this Ironheart TV show that they got going on. I thought
she's going to be a TV show?
Yeah, she's getting a TV show.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Ironheart's going to be a TV show.
I thought it was going to be a movie.
How did you feel about her character?
I liked it. I liked her a lot. I liked the connection that they made. I like how they're introducing her, like, to have a good understanding of what the backstory is going to be. Because it wasn't like, we're going to bring you to Wakanda and now you have all these ideas about this suit. This is something she was already working on. So it's dope to see how she got to that point, because she was already fully invested in this. You know what I mean? This is stuff that she was already doing. So I thought that was dope.
I just thought about this now. But the idea of, before she was in Wakanda, like, she represents a lot of, like, the black youth just in general who, while she's not in Wakanda, she's being exploited for her gifts. Mm-hmm. Where she's doing a lot of this stuff with, like, as MCU loves to say, a box of scraps. Mm-hmm. And she's creating a lot of designs. And, like, she inadvertently winds up creating this machine that detects vibranium. She didn't even know that that's what she was doing exactly. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's what they're doing, is like they're perverting her work. Right. Where then she comes to Wakanda where she's fully embraced and she's given full autonomy of her things, and she creates the Ironheart suit, which didn't look the best, but it was very functional. It did what it was supposed to do.
Tony Stark's first suit didn't look great either. But he built it in a cave.
I was going to say, that was a little bit different. I was the Mark I suit, when he shows up to Iran and pop that tank, I was like, that suit is fire.
Right.
Man, let's not forget that. I'm trying to think of other characters that were just okay. The other Atlanteans. So this is my thing, is I know who these characters are in the comics. For instance, the character of Atuma, which is just the big one, the ones that was fighting Okoye. Mm-hmm. He's a very big deal in the Submariner or Namor comics. He's almost like an Ocean Master in Aquaman. Okay. Or stuff like that. Like, there's going to be some point in time where they have friction and he makes his own type of thing.
I could tell.
And
for the same way about Namora.
Yeah, well, she's a little bit
supposed to
different.
be his sister.
Yes,
okay.
I think it's like in the comics she's called Namorita.
Okay,
and she's like a cousin, but like they kind of did away with that and they tweaked her, and I think she's a lot better. She's better suited in this, and you can tell she's already having some like, why would you create a truce with them? And like he's trying to make them see his side, so on and so forth. They didn't give us a lot with them, and I think that's purposeful because I don't think this is the last time that we see them, whether it's their own movie or whether they appear in some other movie, possibly like a Fantastic Four, things of that nature. Like I think that's where we're gonna get the expansion upon them. But I do think
because it's like 5 more movies coming out, right?
Yeah, we got Ant-Man, we got Avengers Secret Wars, we got Fantastic Four, we got Avengers The Kang Dynasty, and then there's like a bunch of TV shows. They got like the Daredevil TV show.
You have the Marvels, right?
Yep, the Marvels is another one. There's a lot of stuff that's getting ready.
The black girl in the Marvels, is that the one from WandaVision?
Yes.
Okay. I thought so. I just wasn't sure.
So like I didn't really care too much that they didn't get too much characterization. They were at least cool looking and distinctive from the rest of the Atlanteans.
Yeah.
And like you can tell like they were a problem compared to the rest of them. Like you could tell like when they were on that bridge and like he was getting ready to call Shorty over, like I was like, oh shit, don't call her over. Like you could tell she was a hazard.
Right.
But then like he was just like, no, like come on, let's go 1-on-1. And like him and Okoye went at it, and like he kind of let her know real quick. He's like, "You're not really on my type of time, shouty."
Right.
But like, I just think that they didn't do a lot with them. But I think that was purposeful because we got a lot of Namor in this, and like I think that was kind of the point. For the most part, I think that's the end of the stuff I didn't like. Besides maybe like the ending fight scene with them like on the submarine, like it just didn't seem.
They was getting worked.
Yeah, they were getting worked, but it also just wasn't like a very fun fight scene for the most part. It was kind of like we're all fighting here.
Fighting.
Yeah. So like that was the taking attention away from Shuri versus Namor. I mean, you want to go character by character of things that we did like?
No.
I was gonna say Shuri.
I like Shuri.
She was probably one of the main characters.
She just has that I want to punch you in the back of your head, little kid making bad decisions.
She was annoying the hell out of me in this movie.
She was.
And it was just like when she became Black Panther, I was like, I guess. There was a point in time where I thought they were setting up Okoye to be the Black Panther. And
listen, at one point, I thought they was going to give it to M'Baku, and I was just like,
there was a point.
I thought there was going to be 2 Panthers. I was like, what?
If they would have done that, I would have been a little pissed off. I'm not going to lie. Like, if they would have showed up with more than one Panther suit, like, all of Wakanda is Panther, I'd have been like, all right. Like, kind of like in Thor Love and Thunder when they gave all the kids the god powers, and they were like, yeah! I was like, nah. Like, I didn't want none. There needs to be one Black Panther.
That was right.
Yeah, see what I mean? You see what I mean?
That was right.
M'Baku. I feel like there was not enough M'Baku, if anything.
Listen, I feel like it was purposeful because I feel like there's going to be a lot more of him in the next Wakanda.
Especially if he's going to be the king.
Exactly. And I like, so the developments that I'm looking forward to is like what happens with M'Baku, what happens with T'Challa Jr.
I mean, you want to talk about a great way to keep T'Challa in the MCU for future.
Right.
Come on, man.
Right.
There's not much you could have done better than that.
Right. And then, like, if T'Challa Jr. does step into his airness, what happens with Shuri?
Okay, because she's pretty much just the Black Panther right now. So.
Yes. And for some reason, I still want to see more Killmonger. That's just me.
I mean, come on, man, because Michael Jordan is dope, bro.
Man, that's just me. I'm just like hoping. Like I was hoping after the first Black Panther that they were just like they had put some beads into like his chest or something like that, and they had him on cryotherapy and was taking care of him or something. And then one day he was gonna be all right. Maybe that's still a possibility.
No,
maybe he's in an ancestral plane, but then like his life is just like I don't know. But
let me tell you something.
I'm all for more Killmonger.
Let me tell you something, and like I'm already getting goosebumps now saying it. There was a point, where I thought when Shuri put the garments into the fire, that we were gonna get a Chadwick ghost sitting next to her.
No.
And I don't know if I could have handled that personally. I think that would have done it for me. Even if he wouldn't have said nothing, if he would have just done one of these, and like or just did like a little. I don't know if I could have been.
I told you I brought the little dudes with me.
Yeah.
So when we were watching the Easter egg, I was like, "Do y'all know what's happening right now?" She was like, "They was like, no." I was like, "That's T'Challa's son." Nice was like, "Oh." like, yeah. I was like, the next Black Panther is your age, son. He was like, that's dope.
I don't know if we're gonna get a baby Panther costume.
No, we're not gonna get a baby Panther.
But next time we see him, he'll most certainly be like a teenager or something like that.
Yes, he's gonna have to be training to become the king.
Yes.
And he's probably gonna have to get mentored by who? M'Baku. And then he's gonna have to get training from who? Okoye. And like, bro, that joint.
All right.
So many possibilities. So what it does is not only does it increase the franchise, but it brings the youth into it too. Like they're already involved, but they're gonna be like, oh, Black Panther is coming up.
I mean, all of the projects for the most part have been setting up the young Avengers. Like we already got Kate Bishop as the new Hawkeye. We got America Chavez from
Miles Morales.
Yep, Miles Morales. Like they're coming.
Yes.
So like get prepared for that. We got Ironheart now, like stuff like that. So like we're gonna need a new T'Challa. Like you know what I'm saying? Let's just get to it, man. I think there's 3 characters that stand tall above everybody else in this movie.
Okay.
First and foremost, I'm gonna say my girl Okoye. Okay. And like I'm gonna put this out here just like this.
Yo, the scene where she actually lost her ranks and put her dagger in the floor.
Bro, I'm telling you, man. Like I'm getting emotional right now because like I read the comics. She was like, Okoye is not much in the comics and stuff like that. I am not lying to you when I say in the entirety of the MCU, of all the characters that are in there, Okoye is probably one of my 5 favorite characters in all of the MCU.
Old boy said it. He was like, she took a blade to her husband, which is the first time they ever brought up the fact that they were married.
And they were just like, you can see your husband because he's locked up somewhere or something like that.
She was like, she brought a blade to her husband for Wakanda. And she was like you said, you can see your husband. Mine's is gone.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, every scene that she's in.
So that's the first
I feel like every scene that she's in, she crushes it, bro. Yes. She's either funny or she's I can't tell you how many times in this movie I was like, let's fucking go. Let's go.
I still be waiting for her to pull out the blade and throw the dreads on her head.
I'm okay with that. Yo, I don't like they played her ashy ass head too many times in this movie for I like it. I was like, they was really coming at her crazy.
Yeah, they was.
Because it's like, she's too thorough, bro. But it's like, please ditch that ugly ass costume. Give her something else. I don't know. I don't know what she needs to become.
I'm okay if they never bring that back.
Yeah, never.
That joint was weak.
But like, doesn't it make more sense if Shuri becomes the queen and Okoye becomes the Black Panther because like the Black Panther is just a protector of Wakanda, and who cares more about the protection of Wakanda than Okoye?
It's dope.
But it's like I know that it's not comic accurate or anything like that, and I understand that. I was 100%. I was like, please let Okoye be this because like I don't know if it's because I didn't want Shuri to be it, but I was just like, please let Okoye be it.
That's what it was.
But I was just like, yo, I just love Okoye that much. I think I just love Okoye that much. I don't know how she's gonna end up in these other Avengers movies or whatever. I just need more of her at all times.
Right.
Number 2.
Okay.
No more the Submariner, bro. Yo, this man was thorough.
I thought you was gonna put your Spaniard buddy first, man.
Nah, come on, we know who's gonna be number 1. I don't gotta say it, but we know who's gonna be there, but we're gonna get there.
Okay.
But it's just like, yo, we didn't talk about it when we redid like the plot of the movie and stuff like that. But like, yo, the backstory when he showed up on the shore and he saw them conquistadors or whipping them slaves, and he goes, "Oh yeah, no, we're not doing that."
Conquistadors.
That's what they were, Spanish conquistadors.
I know.
It was just like, yo, he was like, yo, yeah, burn it to the ground.
And what they call him? The boy with no soul, or
the one dude tried to like in front of the church called him like the Heartless Boy or something like that. And I was like, yo, this man been thorough. He always gonna be thorough. I can't wait to see. And like, he's very different from himself in the comments. Like in this, like he's very charming. Number 1, he's very soft spoken. It seems like he's not very stubborn. Which in the comics, like he's very the opposite of that. He's very regal. He's very arrogant. He's very abrasive. He reminds me a lot of like early Jaime Lannister, where it's like Jaime Lannister, like nobody could talk to him. He was like, yo, like I don't even know why you're talking to me. You know what? I'm the Kingslayer. Like get up from around me type of deal.
Right.
And it's like they morphed that into like what he is now, and they made him a very sympathetic character. And I'm more than okay with it. I absolutely loved him in this movie. Can't wait to see him in other stuff. He's got to be top 5 Marvel villains in the MCU.
It's not hard.
You got Killmonger, you got Thanos, Vulture. Let's see.
You got Killmonger, you got Thanos.
What's wrong with Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming? He was thorough, bro.
You got Killmonger. You got Thanos.
I'm not gonna go through the 18 years of the MCU, so like we could just kind of stop right there. Winter Soldier.
I can go with that.
All right, well, like we can watch you go. We can go off from there. What your thoughts on Namor? No more.
You got a third person.
I know, but what your thoughts on Namor? No more.
I thought he was dope. I cannot say anything more other than like his place where he's from is literally a mirror image of Wakanda, and he is T'Challa. He's the Spanish T'Challa of the underworld Wakanda, and he has a little sprinkle of Killmonger in him.
I'm gonna hit you with something real quick. This just came up right now, right in this noodle.
Okay.
If T'Challa was still around, you know what they really look like? Is they look like the brown Professor X and Magneto. They both want the same thing. They're both kind of the same people, but they just have different views on how to get there. Because it's like, for the most part, like, he was just like, yo, I'm okay with leaving these white people alone, but now we've hit a part where it's like, I kind of got to start throwing out there.
I feel like T'Challa was here. None of this happens, though.
Well, in the comics, T'Challa and Namor hate each other. Like, they've tried to kill each other a number of times. Like, they can't stand to be in the same room as each other. But the thing is, Namor really respects Black Panther. Black Panther hates Namor like passion. Like, he's literally left that man to die, like, with two planets colliding against each other. Like, he can't stand that man.
Sheesh.
Yeah. I mean, the third one, to me, the scene stealer, the number one person in this movie, Angela, Muff, him, Bassett, like, whatever the award is, like, any scene that she's in, like, she's not even talking in some of the scenes, and the way she just like when she comes to deliver the news about T'Challa, and she just has her hands like this, and she goes, and I'm just like, oh, like,
there's a couple serious moments she had where I chuckled a little bit because I pictured Keke Palmer imitating her in those situations.
Like, Keke Palmer does a fantastic impersonation. If you haven't seen it, please YouTube Keke Palmer, Angela Bassett. So you're like, you gotta get the lip quiver.
Yeah.
Like, she gave a performance in this movie like she hasn't been in good movies in a while.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is one of those ones where it's like, oh yeah, I forgot that this person used to act like that.
Mm-hmm.
She commands the room in every single scene that she's in. Mm-hmm. The scenes that were even in the trailer hit even harder in the movie, dude. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a shame that she had to go. What is her name? Is it King Ramonda? Is that her name? Ramonda?
Ramonda?
Is it Ramonda?
Yeah.
Queen Ramonda? I was just like, oh, like, she was dead. And then like, show them who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I'm telling you, like, somebody, I can't remember which.
And she felt like she swam a whole 20 meters and pulled a little girl up out
she
the
did.
water.
That was bad deep.
Yes.
And when they were giving them the CPR, and I was just like, I already know she's not going to make it.
When they put the beads on both their chests, and I was just like, one of them's red. One of them's red.
Red ain't never been good.
I was like, mind you, Nias is sitting there all comfy with his little seat pushed back and everything, and I'm like, not like this. Not like this. He's like, Dad. I'm sorry. My bad. He felt the same way. He's like, Dad. I'm like, they're about to do it.
Unhand me. I thought she was absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, I hate the fact that we had to lose her in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, man, but at least you got to see her grandbaby. Because that's all anybody even wants is like, yo, you gotta see your grandma. Where'd she go?
True. And she'll be able to see Sarah in the ancestral plane. She gets that.
What do you think it's like when Angela Bassett runs into Killmonger in the ancestral plane?
I feel like they're not in the same place.
But it's just the plane. Like, you're literally anywhere that you want to be. But it's like when you visit it, like it's your own vision of what it looks like for the most part.
Yeah, and I feel like the energy that he was giving off ain't in the same energy place where she's at, man.
You ever watch Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Yes.
Like, you know how like they have the different versions of the Avatar?
Yes.
Like, that's pretty much like how Black Panther works. Like, there's an Avatar Kyoshi in there that's like, yo, just body him.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just how it works.
Yeah,
but
that would be crazy.
That's the best part about the ancestral plane.
Again, and like the two of them are playing a game of chess or something. Like,
what do you think about like King T'Chaka? He's like, yo, I thought I got away from this chick. I gotta spend eternity with her. Oh,
what about the little boy he just left hanging out there? Like, oh my god. Nah, but like, yeah, maybe Killmonger's chilling with his pops.
Well, he wasn't a Black Panther. He wouldn't be in the ancestral plane.
Oh yeah, you're right. Dang, that's tough.
I found my father with Panther claws in his chest. How that happen?
Hey, Auntie.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, man, great movie.
Is there anything more to be said about this movie?
Nah.
I think I'm gonna go see it again too. I just haven't figured out when I'm gonna see it again. It might be Friday.
Let's set it up. I can't do Friday.
I know you can't.
Championship game Friday.
I'm talking about Friday morning, but like you gotta go to work.
I could. No, I'm sorry.
Shine bright like a diamond. It's time for the cultural gem.
So, in honor of the homie Ramonda, we would be remiss if we didn't go with Waiting to Exhale.
Shoot.
What year do you think this movie came out?
1994.
Oh, he was off by 1 year.
Damn, what's that?
He was off by 1 year, 1995.
Damn.
Yeah, so it's basically 4 women who are navigating through like careers, romance, breakups, and stuff like that, and they're all going through this strenuous time in their life where they're navigating and trying to be mothers all at the same time, and through all of that, like they never have a moment to quote unquote exhale. They never have that moment to release and just be
to breathe.
Yeah, to just breathe and just
they're being suffocated by the men in this
just
movie.
Look around and enjoy life. So they have this moment where they go off on like a retreat and they get to enjoy each other and they have these emotional breakdowns, and that's their exhale moments where they get to actually like realize that the things that matter to them in life, the things they need to let go, and how they need to progress forward. Star-studded cast. Cast. So
think about every black auntie you've seen in the last 15 years. They all came from this movie.
So there's 4 main characters. Can you name the 4 main characters?
I cannot.
All right, so one is Angela Bassett.
Because I was going to say Cicely Tyson. I know that's not her name. It's like Celia something. The big one. She's the...
No.
She's
Loretta Devine.
Loretta. God
yes,
damn it.
Loretta Devine.
I can't believe
you have Layla Rashawn, who was in Any Given Sunday, Willie Beeman's wife.
Okay.
Or fiance. And then R.I.P. Whitney Houston. R.I.P. Whitney Houston. All right. Then you can add...
Now, Loretta Devine is going to kill me because, like, I've always known her name, but it was like I know it. I needed to say it now, and I knew I didn't have it.
So you have other people in here like Dennis Haysbert. You have Wendell Pierce. He's like, R.I.P. Gregory Hines.
Damn.
Gregory Hines is in this movie.
The late, great Gregory Hines.
Right. You got Michael Beach, a young Donald Faison when he got caught with the white girl in his room.
Yeah, that's young you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, this brother's tripping. You got Brandon Heyman.
I want y'all to do me a favor. I want you to look up a photo of Donald Faison, and then I want you to look at a photo of this man. And I know the dreads are gonna throw you off for a second, but I want you to really, really look at it. And you tell me that that is not this man's celebrity twin that they were separated at birth. That's Turk Turkleton right there. Like, y'all see that?
It's tripping, man. I remember my days working at KFC, and some lady was like, "Anybody ever tell you look like Turk?" I was like, "From Scrubs." She's like, "Yes." I was like, "Your food is down double the price." But yeah, let's say you got Leon in here. You got Brandon Heyman, which is the little boy from Soul Food that was crying over.
Y'all the one killing Big Mama.
Yep.
Look at y'all.
Yeah. Listen, it goes on and on, man. This 1995.
What was the name of the dude? His name was like Marvin or something like that. But I remember he had big girls going crazy because he was all over Loretta Devine.
McKilty Williamson?
Yeah, what was his name? Was his name like Marvin?
Nah, his name was Troy.
Is that, yeah. He
Gregory
was like,
Hines played Marvin.
But he was like, whatchamacallit? Like, she's like moving stuff. He's like, I like my woman a little bit.
That was Gregory Hines.
It was Gregory Hines?
Yeah, Gregory Hines.
Yo, because like he had them big girls sweating for like a decade. They were like,
Oh, yeah. Without a Gregory Hines, you never get a Savion Glover.
Wow.
Ooh,
Tap dancing like the late great Gregory Hines.
Yeah, without a Gregory Hines, you never get the iconic episode in the Cosby Show when they were
like they tap dancing against challenge. Oh man.
Yeah, man.
Iconic.
Yeah.
Cosby Show.
Here we go. So yeah, that's it for Popcorn Papi, I believe.
All right, so that means we got to get ready. We only got one part left.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's already 12:20. Are we getting the heavyweight lovers? It's been a while.
You let me know, bro.
Do you got it in you? Do you got it in you?
I'm built for this.
Stay tuned. Part 4, Heavyweight Lovers, Gaslighting.